Good morning, I'm Jake Sherman, and welcome to the Daily Punch, brought to you by Punchbowl News. It is Monday, August 3rd, 2026. Let's get into the mix. Here are your Washington headlines of the day. Number one, John Cornyn and Todd Blanche have a deal. Number two, primary day is tomorrow in Michigan. We have a very hot House race. And number three, Matt Dunlap looks to move past his DCCC beef. Let's get into it. The top this morning, John Cornyn and Todd Blanche have a deal to move Blanche's nomination out of the Senate Judiciary Committee after days of frenzied negotiations. Late last night, it was late for me, might not have been late for other people. Todd Blanche issued a formal document stating the order that created the controversial $1.8 billion anti-weaponization fund has been rescinded with no force or effect. A second document that Blanche released affirmed Blanche's confirmation hearing testimony on the limits of Donald Trump's tax audit, immunity deal. John Cornyn and Tom Tillis had blocked Blanche's path through the Senate Judiciary Committee until Justice formally agreed to narrow the immunity deal and scrap the weaponization fund. This was important for Tillis and Cornyn. And by the way, there were other senators as well. Cornyn and Tillis were stalking horses of a sort for other senators who were worried about the anti-weaponization fund. And I think this should smooth the path to the deal because a lot of senators were looking at Cornyn for his okay before they committed to voting for Blanche. This is good news for Republican leaders ahead of the Tuesday 9 a.m. Judiciary Committee markup. A single Republican defection would sink Blanche's confirmation, and last week's vote was scrapped over the standoff. John Thune and Chuck Grassley still want to get Blanche confirmed before the Senate leaves town for its 5-week recess. A lot of this was complicated. The negotiations were made more important, let's say, by Donald Trump over the weekend, saying that he kind of likes the anti-weaponization fund and thinks it's important. But now, theoretically, it has no effect. The earliest that the Senate could confirm Blanche would be Saturday, unless Democrats agree to speed things up. Democrats would have to speed things up before Saturday. It seems unlikely. I don't think that Democrats would want to speed up the confirmation of Blanche, but I guess we don't know that for sure at this point. Senate magic is quite powerful. The Senate is slated to leave after it finishes its business this week until I think September 14th. Quite the 5-week recess. This is a busy week. Besides Blanche for the Senate, we have a short-term CR deal that would extend government funding through December 11th. The CR punts a raft of hot-button issues to the lame duck, including a delay of the proposed OMB rule expanding the administration's power to rescind grant funding. House and Senate Democrats are furious over the rule, and blocking its implementation was one of their key goals during the CR talks. Without a bipartisan agreement, the government would shut down after September 30th. Also on tap, Russia sanctions, rather. The Senate votes to advance the CR tonight. It would displace the Russia sanctions measure as the pending legislative business. The Russia sanctions faces several procedural hurdles, even with 86 senators behind it. Passage could still be several days away. Thune also wants this done before the August recess. And of course, on top of all this is the SAVE Act and budget resolution situation. Mike Lee has vowed to force a vote blocking recess amid the push for SAVE. And that saga has been a big mess for Senate Republicans and the White House. We're going to have to see how Thune handles it. I don't think there's going to be a vote on a budget resolution this week at all. It doesn't seem likely at this point. Other items to keep in mind: Thune wants to force a procedural vote on a landmark crypto market structure bill before the recess, even as outstanding issues remain. We've covered that in our vault coverage in the midday and PM editions and some in the AM editions over the last couple weeks. The Senate is also on track to confirm 74 executive branch nominations as part of an en bloc package that's been making its way through the chamber. That is a typical pre-August recess business that we oftentimes see out of the Senate. So stay tuned because we will cover a lot of this over the coming days. The number two story of the morning, Ali Mutnick in Detroit. Will Shri Thanedar become the next House Democrat to lose re-election? Thanedar represents a historically black district in Detroit, and he has plenty of reasons to be concerned. An anti-incumbent mood sweeping Democratic primaries. The Supreme Court's decision gutting the Voting Rights Act is expected to decimate black representation in the South and has left black leaders eager to help one of their own reclaim the seat. That person is Donovan McKinney. In Thanedar's last two elections, multiple black candidates have split the black vote and opened up a lane for Thanedar. Not so this time. There is just one black Democrat running, and that is Donovan McKinney. It is a head-to-head race, he told Ali on Friday. I think folks are looking for black leadership. And here's an absolutely fascinating statistic. When John James leaves the House after this term, unless McKinney beats Thanedar, there will be no black members representing Michigan, first time since 1955. By 2027, Michigan's 13th district could be the seat with the highest percentage of black constituents not represented by a black lawmaker. Thanedar has some very few incumbent supporters. Benny Thompson of Mississippi, Emmanuel Cleaver of Missouri are two of members of the CBC that have endorsed Thanedar, but McKinney has a lot of CBC members. Those endorsements are notable because the CBC doesn't tend to try to topple incumbents. Rashida Tlaib is one of McKinney's big supporters. She was campaigning with him over the weekend, and she said, this is a great quote that Allie got about Shri's negative advertisement about McKinney. She said, "I tell him, thank you, Shri. Thank you for increasing Donovan's name recognition, you idiot." Hell of a way to be a good delegation mate, but you got to say Tlaib is campaigning hard for McKinney. Number 3 story of the morning, Matt Dunlap is running for Congress in Maine's 2nd District to succeed Jared Golden. He beat the DCCC's Joe Baldacci in the Democratic primary. The DCCC still hasn't added Dunlap to its Red to Blue program. He is running against Paul LePage, the former governor of Maine, who wants to come to Washington. He looks at Congress and says, I want a part of that. He says, listen, this is a very interesting story. He says, you can't really have a real view mirror. There's a part of me that wants a reckoning, but I also need their support and they need me. So you just put that behind you and move on. This is a district that Donald Trump carried all 3 of his presidential runs, represented by Jared Golden, a moderate House Democrat who is retiring. And Dunlap thinks that he could win running on a populist economic message of Medicare for all and bringing down the cost of living. Dunlap says this is a district that went for Trump 3 times, not because they were happy, but because they're angry, and they're angry because they felt left behind. Very interesting story from Max in Old Town, Maine. With that, leave us a rating and review. You can subscribe to Punchbowl News at punchbowl.news. Have a great day and stay safe.